Second, folks, back with another reaction, back with some more George Michael. And we're going to begin going through the next album in his discography, Listen Without Prejudice, which I noticed on Discogs it's listed as Listen Without Prejudice Volume 1, and then in the folder I have it's listed as just Listen Without Prejudice. I'm assuming that means there was never actually a Volume 2, which I know not just in the music world, but sometimes you see in films and so on where there's part of the title seeming to indicate that this would be one in a series or at least a mini-series of films, but then it turns out to just be its own thing, like it's not actually part of some larger grouping. But yeah, ultimately, whether it's Volume 1 or otherwise, I do recognize that Freedom is on here, although it's shown as Freedom 90, and I don't know if that means it's like an updated version of an earlier tune. I know Freedom wasn't on Fantastic, the 87 record that we went through, so assuming then maybe it's a single that came out between the two albums and then there's a reformulated or perhaps, redone version on the studio album. Either way, it's not the opening tune. In fact, in the moment, I'm forgetting what the opening tune is. The opening tune is Praying for Time. So yeah, it sounds like someone's in a hard situation. Maybe the decision of what to do or how to act is not clear. So what they really need is more time to continue to evaluate, maybe even to let things play out to a later stage where then the appropriate action or perception of it at least will become clear. So yeah, ultimately it sounds like someone who's not in a good position, someone who might be vulnerable or in danger of being harmed, whether that's emotionally and psychologically is more what I'm thinking rather than physically, but you never know. Either way, let's find out what it is. This is George Michael, the first track on his 1990 album Listen Without Prejudice, and it's called Praying for Time.
fear of the guilty man. Your television takes a stand, and you find that what was over there is over here. So you scream from behind your door. Say what's mine is mine and not yours. I may have too much, but I'll take my chances, 'cause God stopped keeping score. And you cling to the things they sold you. Did you cover your eyes when they told you that he can't come back, 'cause he has no children to come back for? It's hard to love. There's so much to hate. Hanging on to hope when there is no hope to speak of. And the wounded skies above say it's much too late. So maybe we should all be praying for time.
It's a very powerful tune sonically and lyrically. So yeah, sonically it was very heavy, and you could tell it had a lot of weight to it right away. That it was going to be, thematically, less light and fun than, for example, as I reacted to in the same session, Wham's "Wake Me Up Before You Go Go." But yeah, a lot of like really well written lines there, and the sense that I get is that there's a world that sometimes is quite hostile, and it seems like he's saying it doesn't really matter where you are, like over here, over there, it's kind of the same way. So there's no getting away from it just by moving from one place to another. And sometimes he wonders if we should all be praying for time. But there's also like a defiance to it that he knows who he is, and he knows what's important for him, and he's not gonna let that difficulty or that struggle change him. So in a way, knowing about George, I wonder, is this about his sexuality? Is it about like a world that is hostile to that? But also he seems to be talking about economics, and he's saying this is a time when there's a lot of open hands, but charity only comes around a couple times a year, presumably Christmas and I don't know, Easter. But the idea that people pay lip service to help the needy and so on, but then it's like, oh, we enforce policies that are less kind to the needy than that would maybe suggest, or so then giving that charity, it feels like almost ironic or hypocritical, in that other parts of the year there doesn't seem to be that same concern. So he seems to be talking about more than just maybe his personal story, and this is like, we should all be praying for time. So perhaps it's about larger social and cultural conditions, not just specific to him, and perceptions about his sexuality and so on. But either way, a really powerful tune, really beautifully sung, and ultimately I like the opening an album with that track is a very bold and powerful beginning to a sophomore record. So shout out to George, shout out to Nigel once again for sharing the George Michael material and much else. And again, I've been saying this to all the sort of champions of the channel who send me material either physical or through email or hard drives. You are massively appreciated, and I'll get through everything. I just need time. And again, knowing all the different deep dives that I'm already going through, I have been lately trying to limit starting new ones, so as I get through some, I can begin others, and I have a to start list, and I've been keeping track of how long some things have been waiting. So for people who shared a lot with me, like Han Solo, Nigel, Philip, Adam, all sorts of people, I appreciate your patience. I will continue to try to go through at least some of it so that I'm not just letting it sit there. But either way, you are all massively appreciated. And again, like the people like Stan, for example, who I've only gone through like a tiny bit of the material, like Nigel as well. I especially appreciate your patience, if I can speak correctly. But yeah, very cool opener. Looking forward to hearing Freedom 90 and hearing if it's the tune that I'm remembering or thinking of when I think of a George Michael track, Freedom. So I guess we'll find out there. Luca, I apologize. You are ridiculously comfortable, it looks like, but I have to find some way to just sort of cleverly maneuver, and I think we're good. Let me know what you think. I'll see you next time. Peace.